Ladies and gentlemen, I will also say our protocols observed. We know you are distinguished ladies and gentlemen. So this evening, I'm not going to pick a fight with Orbit, right, President? Because Orbit put on gloves last year for me. And so what we did this year to this time is to put him up here. Yes. So last year he was sitting in the front row. This year we decided that he can't fight us too much, he was sitting up here. So Orbit, no fighting today, no fighting today. We put you up here for a reason. We want stability, we want to be nice. All right? Have a deal? Have a deal? He's not taking me on. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the budget again. And as our president said earlier, this is a statement on our calendar. Now, every single year going forward, we plan to have a forum after the budget. There's a reason why we wanted this, ladies and gentlemen. Because in our business, we think knowledge is power. And we think that if we get our investment public to understand what is going on, then they'll become better investors and they'll be able to make better returns for themselves and their families. So today I'm going to just touch on a few points regarding the budget itself and then move on to tell you a little bit about how we projected, how we think you should invest in the going forward. So some of the keys to the budget are the low and stable inflation rate, and Senate advisors are going to touch back on that later on. The stable FX market, the historically low and declining interest rates, but it's still anemic economic growth rate. So we have a problem right there with economic growth, even though all day everything seems to have lined up. Economic growth is really making the better odds. So let's look on what has happened with inflation. So inflation was a time in somewhere in the region of 2016, just 16, 17, when our inflation rate was at the same point with US inflation rate. But think about that. We were at 2%, the US was at 2%. Something happened, and just because Orbin said we're not going to get political or otherwise, we're not going to say what happened. But the long and short is, we had a movement in that 1 year period from 2 to 4%. So the gap between US and Jamaica widened. And I'm telling you this part of the story because there's a real reason to keep inflation close to your closest or your biggest trading partner. Because remember, I don't want to teach economics in here, but that's key to how you get the other variables to be in mind. But what we saw last year is that the inflation rate at the end of last year was about 5.2, at the end of January somewhere in the region of 4.8%. What we had happening last year is that we had a 19% increase in oil prices, and we had a 6.7% jump in food prices. And there's a reason for that, as you've all heard, the issues related to the bad weather condition last year. But that is something that I think we have to challenge ourselves to do better on going forward. Because one way to say we need rainfall, but then when rainfall, we say we don't need so much rainfall. So we need to challenge ourselves to do better. I know there's a lot of infrastructure work going on where that is concerned, and I will talk to about some of those things. We expect that we fix those things in the coming years. The good news is that oil prices looks to have stabilized. We don't expect that oil prices will go too much more from here. If you listen to the finance minister and if you listen to what has been said in recent times, I think the government is predicting that oil will be something in the region of $50 a barrel, $50 to $60 a barrel. Right? And hopefully sometime down the road we'll find our own oil, and then that will get cheaper. But the key to it is that we think a lot of that has been priced already. The food price inflation is something now that again we also think should be contained this year. Again, knocking on wood, because the truth is that we don't know when the weather is going to be bad. We don't know when we're going to have the exogenous shocks. And so we have to make sure that we take care of the things we can take care of, those things that are within our control. So we don't expect a repeat of that that we saw with inflation last year. The exchange rate is highly dependent on the inflation rate, right? And this is another chart that I think we really, ought to take cognizance of. If you look on that in red line, look on what happened last year with the exchange rate. Inflation was somewhere in the region of about 5%, as I said earlier. The inflation differential between the US and Jamaica was about 2.69%, somewhere in that region. So we expect that with the inflation differential between ourselves and our largest trading partner, we have a similar movement in the currency. Instead of the currency depreciated last year, somewhere to the region of the differential, it actually appreciated. So we had a movement, an appreciation of the exchange rate last year, somewhere in the region of 2.68%, and a depreciation, and then inflation differential of 2.69%. So we're talking about 5.1%. And the economics always works, I would say, because look at what has happened since the beginning of this year. We've had a 3% depreciation of the currency already in 2.5 months. So we have to make sure we take care of these variables, just don't lie. So we have to make sure we contain inflation if we want to see exchange rate. And if exchange rate moves out of whack, it is going to move back to default. So that's something that we have to worry about. But from here, having had the 3% movement for out of the 5 for last year, we still think we're going to see probably a 2 to 3% movement in the exchange rate from here. Now, we know BOJ has put some things in to fix it, right? But again, we have to remember that is just supposed to be a tool to help with stability. And I think sometimes it's overdone and it moves in the wrong direction too much. And it needs to be corrected. So we have to have BOJ play a bigger role in keeping it stable. Interest rates. Here's a question, exam question for you all. Have interest rates bottomed? Last year, part of what got us into trouble with Orbit was about whether we should be holding government of Jamaica paper. This year, we won't get into any trouble with it because the government of Jamaica won't have the paper for us to buy. Right, Orbit? Because we're going to have a what at the end pop off, so we won't need the funding. Right?
I'm going to answer that.
You're going to challenge it?
Not you.
Oh, sorry, thanks. But look on the challenge with this chart. Look on what is happening between the blue line and the red line. We see that interest rates in the US is the red line. So we took a US 10-year treasury note and compared it to a government of Jamaica 10-year US dollar note. Look at what is happening to the red line at the end. The red line is moving upwards, which tells us that interest rates in the US are moving upwards. What is happening to the blue line? The blue line is moving upwards too. So it tells us that when we have the inflation differential like we have right now, if something happens to one, it's going to happen to the other. So interest rates may have bottomed from where we are now. And we have to take cognizance of that, because when we talked about $89 billion reduction in amortization for this year, we have to take it in the context that interest rates could start moving up locally, not because of our doing, but because of what is happening with our trading partners. Right? So you may have seen on Friday gone, that the US produced the most jobs in 1 month that has produced in 18 months. So over 300,000 jobs were created. The only savior for us in that situation is that the jobs were not moving up in terms of prices too much. So they were contained in terms of prices. So the job costs, the cost of those jobs is go, but the number of jobs went up. Now why I mention that is because that will help to keep interest rates in the US contained a little bit. Because just the talk of inflation a few weeks ago made the rates in the US move up. And so we have to know that when something happens in the US, if the US gets a cold, we're likely to feel some the chairman says pneumonia, but I won't say that before all them take now. But But the key to it is that we have to take cognizance of what is happening with our largest trading partner. So yes, it's good to say that we're going to bring our cost of amortization down. But we always have to remember what is happening with our competitors, so that we don't shoot ourselves in the foot at the end of the day by making wrong projections. To the growth issue. Everybody here, all the speakers spoke about the growth. The finance minister said it would have been somewhere between 2 and 2.5% if all things line up. So all things never line up and we end up at 0.5%. Hopefully this year things will line up and we should get back to the 2.4 or the 2.5%. But as we know, things won't always line up, so we have to find some middle ground between the 0.5 and the 2.5. Where's the growth to come from? You heard about the spending on the highways, and this has been something that has helped us over the last 10, 15 years. Well, certainly since the year 2000, the highway 2000. $2.6 billion is expected to be spent on these highways in the coming year. The North Coast Highway, the South Coast Highway, the Montego Bay Road, as Dr. Horn told you a while ago. Then there are some developments in terms of Morant Bay, the Nagahead Tech Park, and those things. Those are things that we really, really need to come on stream right now. So when we talk about what is happening in Barbican and we talk about what is happening in Constant Spring, and sometimes we say, boy, it's an inconvenience for us. It is part of what will help us to create the growth that we need. The only thing we need to do is to call on the guys to be a little bit more organized, put some signs up, say detour, don't drive in Barbican, drive down Hope Road, don't drive up Constant Spring, I don't know where's he going to drive. But, some signs would certainly help, to kind of, keep the economy turning. Because the key to it is that while we want to have economic growth, we also want to be productive. And when we sit in lines for the whole day, productivity is going to be affected. So we always have to take cognizance of that. So we just ask the authorities, to play a better role in, getting the organization, being an organization. The police is out more these days, but we still need them to do a little bit more in terms of organization. Tourism, last year we had 4 million visitors. A lot of them were just stopovers. Sorry, a lot of them were not stopovers. We just came in and ran out. What we want are those who will stay with us for a little longer, right? And as such, we want to have, we want a more stable environment in the tourism sector. Right. So the budget we think supports the capital market. And let me make a point here on the whole issue about capital market. We talked a little bit earlier about how the banking sector funds the credit. And we talked about private sector funding. So there's a difference here. We're talking about lending from the banking sector for personal reasons, to buy the cars and those things. And then we talk about the private sector lending to business. Private sector lending to business has been up over the past 2 years, I think 14% per year over the past 2 years. So that is working well. But one of the things that I don't think get counted enough is what is happening in the security structuring industry. Last year alone, without having all the numbers compiled, about $120 billion was funded by the securities dealers to the credit market. Dr. Horton, I think we need to look at those numbers, because I think those numbers will be excluded from the numbers that we talk about when we talk about credit to the private sector. And increasingly, this is where the change is. I can tell you that last year alone, we did a couple of those structures where money's debt, the clients had debt with the commercial banks or other lending institutions, deposit-taking institutions. And those debt were converted to security structures, right? Which were funded by the securities market, which is exactly what we want to happen. And this is where now, for the the finance minister again, the funding cost is below 10%. It's actually, as the minister puts it, single digit. Many of these structures that were done last year and done so far this year are into single digit in Jamaican dollars. So I think we need to talk a little bit more about that when we talk about funding to the private sector. So a conversation can be had about it. Long and short is though, we're saying that the budget is supportive to the capital markets. If you look on some of the numbers, you will see lower overall expenditure, good for the capital market. Debt services, lower debt servicing, again good for the capital markets. Higher non-net expenditure, good for the capital market. The good one, a really big one for the capital market is the debt to GDP ratio coming out to 105% and actually going to 60% by 2025 if you follow the minister. Good sign. Low inflation, again, good for the sector. Interest of time, I just skip over and move to the others since those things have been talked about before. So we think the environment is conducive to economic growth. The question is really how much. The budget is conducive to the economic growth. The private sector is replacing the government, which is exactly what we want to happen. And I stop here to just tell a quick story that maybe 12, 15 years ago, I kind of aged myself, but let me just tell the story just to say. We went to one of those government bodies to say, let us help you to raise money from the marketplace. At that time, that entity said, no. The way we do business now is that the government does all the borrowing, and then they just pass the money on to us. Last week, the president and I went to one of these bodies, and where are they now? They're saying, listen, we want to borrow directly from the marketplace. No government guarantees, but no problem. 12, 15 years ago, it was government guarantees and problems. So we're saying now that's a really big move in the right direction, where these public bonds have decided to raise capital in the marketplace so that you investors here will become a part of those people who are funding those things. So we talk a lot about the fact that some of these public bodies need to get listed on the stock exchange, and we want them to. But the fact is, we have to start somewhere. And I think we have started at this point where you can now fund a public body to one of the structures that are open. So what are we recommending in terms of strategy? Government bonds, corporate bonds, not government bonds, corporate bonds, equities, and real estate, right? With the corporate bonds, again, I made a point about what is happening in the corporate bond market. 14%, for private sector funding, 14% happening in the commercial banking sector, but $120 billion from our sector last year. And we have seen some good structures this year. And based on the pipeline that we are seeing in our board, I think that number could probably get to $200 billion this year. So it's going to be a big development in the marketplace this year, because I think a lot of people just didn't realize what was happening. People will ask a question like, so where's this money coming from? The pension funds were investing in government to Jamaica paper before. The pension funds have to move away from government to Jamaica paper because the returns are so small. So this is a good move in the right direction. The insurance companies, which is something we need Aubrey to help us with too. The insurance companies have some regulatory issues where they are required to hold a lot of their investments in government people. We need that to change that. We need a change in that direction right now. Because remember now, these insurance companies are looking for investment opportunities that can increase their returns. And when they're constrained by the fact that they have to invest in government paper, then the government gets that money, the economy doesn't get it, so you don't get the kind of flow to the economy that you need to get the development. So that's two areas right there. Pension funding these corporate issues, the insurance companies funding these private issues, these corporate issues. So we need those on board to develop. But I tell you as investors that you need to make a move right now, make a shift, because that is part of where the market is going and has gone. With regards to equities, someone once said that Jamaica is cheap, and Jamaica is cheap for a reason. We had all those bad economic years, and so who would want to buy that in an environment that has bad economic conditions and bad low growth rates in those things? What we're saying now is that if the growth rates that we're talking about materialize, we're likely to see Jamaica moving up in value. So what does that mean? It means where stocks are trading at 15 and 16 times their earnings, where in the US they're trading at more than 30 times their earnings, then you will see that Jamaica is cheap compared to places like the US. So what we're saying is that stocks have a way to go in our environment. In addition to that, when we talk about stocks in their current situation, funding costs is gone down. It's a company that has that is looking to increase their business right now, to do some of the import substitution that we talked about earlier, can raise capital at much lower rates. Just recall what happened with Mexico in December. Just recall what the president said earlier about us. We put a dish on the market and we got bids for 4 times what we put out there. Mexico probably got twice the amount. Of course, there's a bidder, maybe 2 times, right? So the point I'm making to you is that there are good opportunities out there, and these companies are good performers, and they will get even better with lower funding costs. So the good things in the economy will benefit these companies, and so we'll encourage you to stay taking on stocks. When we talk about the average being 16, this is not even the weighted. This is just a simple average. If we were to use a weighted average, PE on these stocks, we're talking more close to 12. Look on the big banks and look on the P's that they trade on the market. Point I'm making is they're cheap. And so the strategy is that you want to buy more of these cheap equities before you can buy them again. Recall earlier that when Arbin left NCE, the price of the stock was $30. Well, where's that stock? $100. Right? So just think about it. So we're saying to you that stocks are cheap. Maybe Arbin left too early, Chairman. All right, quickly now to real estate. I know I've gone over time, but I just want to keep you engaged on this. Real estate, again, is cheap compared to the developed world. What is happening in real estate? If you go to many of these commercial sites right now, you'll see that they're 90% occupied. Why? Because we have the BPOs coming in, taking up a lot of the space. So the BPOs are not just helping with employment, they're also helping with the utilization of space. So we had space capacity for more utilization of space, Michael, and we're seeing now the take-up is getting increasingly more. And we see more construction happening as a result of that. So real estate, I want to tell you, is still cheap and it's still an opportunity to get it right now. And it's not just commercial real estate, but residential real estate is picking up. Just because of Airbnb, technology is getting a hold on what is happening with our environment. So the point is, both commercial and residential real estate is doing well. So we'd encourage more buying in those sectors. So what will we tell you now? If you don't know, if you can't invest in those directly, and you don't think you always should, we leave that to some of the really big investors like Mr. Hill and some others. But we think we have provided some good opportunities for you to invest to get these exposures. So we have some bond funds. We have 3 bond funds, and you look on the average returns on those last year from the lowest yielding to the highest yielding one, from the lowest tenured one to the highest tenured one, 4.95% to 7% in US dollars. The equity fund was somewhere in the region of 30% last year. Remember, I just said still think there's a little bit of this where that is concerned. The real estate fund was just under 6%, and we expect more growth to come from that in the near term. So we're saying we've created an opportunity for you to get exposure to these asset classes without investing directly in them. Yeah. So no longer will you have to go and buy an apartment or anything directly. We're saying to you can get exposure to these things by buying to the funds that you have. And still to come, we're going to give you exposure to some of the other commodities that you don't see, you're not seeing there now. US equities, oil, all those things that you can buy on the world market, we expect to create some structures for this. So our team, our expert team at VMware is working on this. So I'll stop there for now and I'll leave the rest for the questions. Thank you very much.